Hi everybody, it's Ann and welcome back to the blog spot. Now today we're going to talk about Jussie Smollett lawyers not licensed to practice in Illinois. This came from the Chicago Sun-Times and it came out on July 24th, yesterday. Okay, here we go. Lawyers for former Empire star Jussie Smollett cannot challenge a judge's decision to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate the actor because they are not licensed to practice law in Illinois, according to the retired judge who successfully lobbied the courts for the special prosecutor probe. Sheila O'Brien, a retired state appellate court justice whose own law license lapsed in 2014, filed a motion calling for Smolletts celebrity lawyers Tina Glandian and Mark Garagos to be reported for the unlicensed practice of law and for the courts to ignore a filing made last week asking for a judge to cancel his order appointing a special prosecutor. O'Brien filed her petition as a pro se litigant, which is an option open to non-lawyers, just weeks after the Cook County State's Attorney's Office made the unorthodox decision to drop all charges against Smollet for allegedly faking a hate crime attack near his Streeterville apartment. Judge Michael Tooman last month ruled that a special prosecutor would be appointed and has been soliciting volunteers from among 101 states' attorneys' offices across the state to take on an investigation of the allegations against Jussie Smollett and to probe how state's attorney Kim Foxx handled the case. According to an article in the Chicago Tribune on May 3rd, 2019, anyone can petition the courts for the appointment of a special prosecutor and subpoena big shots to appear in front of a judge. So it sort of makes sense how O'Brien was able to do that, and she's retired and also has no law license. Okay, let's continue. Glandian and Garagos have offices in New York and Los Angeles and had previously represented Smollet with Chicago-based attorneys Patricia Brown Holmes and Brian Watson. O'Brien claims that Garagos and Glandian had said they were permitted to practice in Illinois under state court rules that allow out-of-state lawyers to represent clients in Illinois courts. But the two attorneys had not sent formal notice to the parties, and that staff at the state attorney registration and disciplinary commission confirmed to O'Brien that Glandian and Garagos had not done the paperwork that was required. Glandian last week filed a lengthy motion which did not list the names of Jussie Smollett's previous Chicago-based lawyers as part of the legal team, calling Tooman's special prosecutor ruling travesty and seeking to end or limit the scope of the probe before it starts. Tooman has set a July 31 hearing in the case. Oh, that's good. We know when the next court date is coming up. Sheila O'Brien, who successfully petitioned for a special prosecutor to review The Jussie Smollett case says the actor's California-based attorneys should be reported for the unauthorized practice of law within Illinois after they made a series of filings last week on their client's behalf. Sheila O'Brien claimed in a letter to Cook County Judge Michael Tooman on Wednesday that 4 motions celebrity attorney Mark Garagos and Tina Glandian filed for Jussie Smollett last week should be ignored, as the pair do not have the proper legal standing to practice law in Illinois. Ms. Glandian and Mr. Garagos told this court that each of them was, quote, Rule 707 admitted, end quote, O'Brien states in her letter. This information was untrue at the time of the filing and is untrue now. Out-of-state attorneys must obtain permission to practice law in Illinois for state cases, according to ARDC registration records O'Brien included in her letter. Neither Glandian nor Garagos are currently authorized to practice in Illinois, with each of their registrations expiring sometime in 2019. More than 30 days have passed since the June 21st, 2019 decision rendered by this court. Because Ms. Glandian and Mr. Garagos and the Garagos law firm were not licensed in Illinois, their pleadings of July 19, 2019 in this case should be held for naught and reported as the unlicensed practice of law in Illinois, the letter states from retired Judge O'Brien. Not just mean shouldn't be counted for anything. Chicago police detectives determined Smollet arranged the incident himself, paying the 2 brothers beforehand and instructing them when and how they would attack him. A grand jury indicted Jussie Smollett earlier this year on 16 felony counts of disorderly conduct for filing a false police report. The case has garnered extensive international attention, not only due to the bizarre details of the case itself, but for the way it was handled within the office of Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx. After Foxx recused herself, citing contact with Smollett's family when he was still considered a victim, she appointed her top assistant, Joseph Magatz, to oversee the prosecution. Magatz dismissed the charges in March as part of what the state's attorney's office called an alternative prosecution with Jussie Smollett, who had no criminal background. But O'Brien and many other legal experts took issue with Foxx appointing her own successor after her recusal. Foxx has since changed her reasoning for why she stepped away from the case and claimed she never formally recused herself. O'Brien filed a petition this spring seeking the appointment of a special prosecutor to review Smollett's case and decide whether any charges are warranted. And Judge Tooman obliged. But once that recusal decision became a reality, Section 3-9008 was the only road Foxx could traverse, and that statute unequivocally requires that a special prosecutor be appointed by the court, Judge Tooman wrote in his June 21st ruling. Yet for reasons undisclosed, even to this day, Foxx instead chose to detour from that course, instead appointing Mr. Smolletts as the acting state's attorney for this matter. Judge Tooman has not yet appointed a special prosecutor. Garagos and Glandian asked the judge to reconsider that ruling last week. They are also seeking a new judge to handle the case, claiming Judge Tooman accepted false media reports in presuming Jussie Smollett's guilt of those charges, labeling him a charlatan who fomented a hoax, the equal of any twisted television intrigue. And fomented means made up. This case has been a travesty of justice and an unprecedented deprivation of Mr. Smollett's constitutional rights, Jussie's lawyers wrote in one motion last week, including the presumption of innocence and the right to a fair trial. A hearing is scheduled to discuss their motions next Wednesday. Okay, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for stopping by the channel. Please like the video, share the video, post your comment below, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.